Are we seeing the boost in real estate activity that we have been needing? Well, let's talk about it. Hey, Lily with Living Room Realty in Portland, Oregon, here to give you a real estate market update for the month of October 2023. All right, so it's always interesting in these times we're in. I feel like the data that we have is always for the month prior and doesn't always really amplify what we're actually seeing currently because things are shifting a lot at the moment. But let's go over the numbers quickly so you can know what those are, and then we'll talk anecdotally about what we're seeing happening right now here in the month of October. When looking at the numbers for September, it is interesting to see that we saw activity go down across the board. So new homes went down by 7% with 2,713 homes hitting the market. Pending sales went down by 11% with not 8,000, 1,809 homes going under contract, and then sold homes went down by a whole 20% with 1,717 homes going to new homeowners. With that decrease of 20%, it is not surprising to see that we actually saw inventory of homes shoot up to the highest number the highest number we have seen in at least like 2 years, up to 2.9 months of inventory. This is huge news for everybody involved, obviously, but really big news for you buyers. It shows that there is a lot of homes for you to choose from at the moment based on what is currently in demand. So yeah, pretty significant to see there. Average sales price has stayed fairly stable. As we've always said, some people were hoping in these times we'd see prices go crazy low. They've stayed around the low 600s. Right now, it's right below that at about 595. So if you are someone who is planning to sell your home, don't be freaked out by the idea of prices just going down super low. They really haven't gone down that much in the last year or so, and they've stayed pretty stable. If you are a home buyer, it's obviously good information for you to have as well, that even in these tough times, home prices have stayed pretty much the same. And, you might wonder why that is. We are a pretty in-demand real estate market here. We are still the most affordable city on the West Coast. People are moving here all the time. Plus, people always are moving for all the reasons. We'll talk about this a little bit more as we talk about what we should see for the holiday market. But people move at all times, so we're still going to see that happen. In terms of, where we're at in the market, let's go into that. So what we're seeing right now. The market is heating up right now. We are in a specific period of time. We always talk about fall being kind of the second hottest real estate market. It was really slow this year to come, obviously, with interest rates, going up even into the 8% range. That was obviously hindering a lot of buyers and hindering a lot of sellers who maybe are hesitant to sell because of what buyer activity would be in an 8% real estate market. And obviously for those folks that maybe are thinking of selling and then buying themselves, they don't want to buy a house with an 8% interest rate. That was really hitting us. It does feel like it has normalized. Some people were, freaking out when interest rates went into the sixes for good reason. Now they just keep going up. I think a lot of people are in the mindset of, if I have to move anytime soon, I might as well do it now. That way I can just figure out my life situations, and there are benefits to both scenarios, especially if you are a buyer. There are benefits to buying now versus buying later. And yeah, we're seeing that. As I mentioned in the beginning, in my office, we have this big whiteboard that covers all of the notable deals everybody, got under contract on the buyer and seller side. And last week, the whole board, it was this giant whiteboard, was filled pretty much to the bottom. And that was the same case the week before. So deals are happening right now. People are buying homes. People are selling their homes right now. And yeah, I attribute most of that to where we're kind of at in the market. Again, people I think are getting more used to the higher rates. I have a lot of buyers right now who are just a lot more active, really thinking about things, and being in that place where they're like, look, I just want to buy a house if the numbers work. Like, that's my suggestion to people who are looking to buy is, if the numbers work for you, then you can buy a house right now. And then, hopefully later down the road, you can refinance. Always though, making sure the numbers work for you now, so that if things don't change anytime soon, you're still in a good place. And with that, with inventory going up to 2.9, that shows that while buyers are more active right now, there's more activity happening. And, there is still more demand for housing than there are homes out there. Buyers do have really good negotiation powers at the moment. Obviously it depends on the specific circumstances with the seller you're dealing with, But a lot of the time, buyers are in scenarios right now where they are able to ask for repairs, get credits, even negotiate at the beginning of a transaction to get closing credits. That way they can do things like buy down their interest rate, which highly recommend looking into and talking with a lender more about, or I'm happy to chat with you about too. Getting these situations figured out where, yes, you might see in the news that interest rates are at 8%, but interest rates are also particular to your personal scenario. So if you have a better credit score, if you have a high down payment, all of these things, have good job, good salary, all these things, that's going to depend on what your personal interest rate you're going to pay for that specific house is going to be. And then again, we can talk about certain negotiations to get you a temporary lower interest rate, things like that. So there's a lot of nuances to today's market, and there are people out there that are successfully buying homes. If you are a seller, good news to hear there that we are seeing more and more activity at the moment. I think, it is notable that we are at 2.9 months of inventory. It shows that while demand is high, seemingly high, there are homes that are sitting on the market. I did see that, I didn't write it down, but the average days on market is a little higher right now as well. So we are seeing that. So I think if you are someone who is planning to sell your home, making sure that it is I feel like I use this term too much, but dialed in as possible, making sure that everything is super clean. I think a lot of buyers fall in the category of thinking of how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if your home is at all seen as dirty, I'm talking about like baseboards, things like that. Like you need to have everything just look really immaculate, because buyers will be worried if they see things that are maybe not taken care of as well as they'd want them to, or they expect a house on the market to. They might wonder how you're taking care of other items in the home. So it's really just kind of making sure you have everything dialed in, which is what we are here to help you with. And then also just being pretty patient. I have a seller right now who we've been on the market for a good deal of time right now, and we finally got them under contract through a lot of, work and creativity and understanding and patience from their side. And now they are successfully moving forward in a home transaction. So even in the harder scenarios in today's market, it is possible to be successful. And it's just kind of going through what's going to be possible for you in your particular scenario right now, where your home is, what type of home you're selling, all of those things are going to matter more than ever as well. So happy to chat with you about that. And then lastly here, just to talk about what we should expect from the holiday season. So, Halloween is right here, right now. So that means it is the beginning of the holidays. Thanksgiving is coming up. Obviously, Hanukkah, Christmas, all of those are coming up as well. So it's just something to be mindful of. People ask like, oh, does the market just completely shut down? No, homes that are sitting on the market, they're still going to be on the market. Typically, some people choose to take their home off, but most just sit there. And, for buyers, I have gotten people into some really good situations in homes. And for sellers, buyers are still out there buying houses. People that are planning to buy houses, some folks choose to wait until, the next year. That's like a good opportunity for them to take a break. But a lot of people still are out there buying houses. People need to move on both sides, so things can happen. It's just always an awareness that things are going to move slower. So patience is needed. You might not have as many options if you're a buyer looking in that market, but it's always good to be open if the right opportunity comes about. So, if you're someone who is planning your home buying or home selling timeline, know that these situations here historically, might not be, you have to be very particular about when you're going to do things. And that is when you come to us and we help you figure that out with you. But yeah, if you have any questions about the Portland, Oregon real estate market or the surrounding areas, I am happy to be that resource for you. And feel free to connect with me as well so we can come up with your custom home selling or home buying strategy. Oh, and real quickly too, please hit subscribe. That way I can keep updating you on all things Portland, Oregon real estate. All right, thanks. Bye.